So in case, shit hits the fan in the EU, either through censorship or citizenship-based taxation or even, the craziest scenario like World War III, what places do you think are interesting to look at in those scenarios?
I mean, definitely the Americas, like, Caribbean, Latin America, I think those are super interesting. And when it comes to World War III escalation, especially, if you look at like the range, the missile range, and I think you posted something about that the other day, but like Latin America is very safe, very, very safe. You just have like New Zealand, Australia, but I think that like that's not for everyone. Like that's really far away from people that have like Western roots. But if you are worried about those things happening, I do think that Latin America has quite a, especially because again, first principles, right? Like right now you might think that it's dangerous, underdeveloped, But if you think about the trajectory, like they already had rock bottom. It's already done, right? Like in Argentina, for example, inflation already hit like numbers that are completely insane, and something happened in people's minds that they made them realize that actually this whole libertarian thing might actually work. Obviously, like if you think about Milei in the EU, for example, he's labeled as a right-wing extremist. But then you listen to him and he's like, okay, that makes sense. And the population in Argentina realized that this is not some kind of like fascism. This is like actually exactly the opposite. This is like, okay, let's try to spend less money, be responsible, and let's try to build a society that can work for generations coming.
It's common sense, I think.
It's common sense.
Also, I think something that is worth mentioning is that, in LATAM, in places like Argentina, El Salvador, you have, volatility. And volatility can be good, the same as in crypto. It can be good because it allows something to go up. It can also crash to zero, but you have that, sort of volatility and different scenarios that can happen. Whereas in Europe, I believe that, the trend is clear. There's not so much volatility, but it's going down. It's something very similar. I feel like a good comparison would be fiat and crypto. Fiat doesn't have that short-term volatility, but long-term it's going to zero. And crypto, has short-term volatility, but long-term it's probably going up.
And I think like right now, because of this like weird moment that we are in history, I think we are all very confused. Like literally every week I talk to someone that is like a talented individual that has like plenty of options to move around the world. Sometimes they have families, sometimes no. If they don't have families, it's kind of easier. If they have families, then it's harder, and they have much more concern to where to live in the next like 1-2 decades. I think everyone has like is placing their bets on what will happen in 20 years. And I think in 20 years, directionally speaking, you can see that Latin America is going up. You can see that obviously Southeast Asia is really going up, and societies there are quite prime, I think, for a breakout, but they are not there yet. And so I think right now, the best thing you can do is buy optionality. And you buy optionality by having crypto so you can move your wealth around, and by having a second passport so you can move yourself physically around.